I didn't actually buy the reMarkable Move for journaling. And for a while, I didn't know if I could justify keeping a niche device that cost me almost 500 euros, especially that I already have the reMarkable Paper Pro right here with me. But then I tried something. I started journaling within 30 minutes after waking up, and 6 months later, I'm still here with a consistent morning habit. I'm about to show you my 3-step journaling practice that made the habit stick, and why I think the Move is perfect for this type of practice and made the purchase totally worth it for me. So let's back up a bit to what my mornings used to look like. And yes, this will sound incredibly familiar. I'd wake up, beeline to my phone, and start scrolling while I prepare my coffee. And the next time I looked up, it had been 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. My brain felt scattered, like I had no control whatsoever of my time and attention. And I'll tell you what, that feeling sucked. So I decided to try something to change how I feel in the morning. At that time, I already had my Move and bought it a week after it released. But I was not quite sure yet if it was going to fit my life or if I should return it. So I took it out of my work bag where it would usually be and leave it the night before on our kitchen table so I can see it first thing in the morning. Right after waking up and checking the time, I would prepare my morning coffee and sit down to write on my Move. And I found guided prompts online, tweaked them to questions simple enough I know I can answer them within 5 minutes, and made my own PDF template with links and loaded them on the Move. So I committed to doing it for a week as an experiment, and I realized that once I started writing something, the momentum would just build up and I'd keep going, adding more pages when needed, and it made it that much easier to show up again the next morning. So here are the 3 parts of my morning journaling routine on the Move, which I do in this exact order. If you're interested, I'll leave the link in the description for this exact template I designed for the Move that I use every day. All right, let's get to it. First, the warm-up prompts. Let's go to a page here. And this is what makes the habit actually stick during those hard mornings. 1 page, 5 prompts, and here's what I ask myself. 1 thing I'm grateful for. How do I feel in body and mind? Today I want to feel. 1 small way I can care for myself today. And 1 thing I want to leave behind. You've got a mix of gratitude and intention setting in there, and that's it. For me, it's so helpful psychologically because I know I'm not trying to summon thoughts out of nowhere, and even on the mornings where I'm tired or low or just not feeling it, I can answer 5 questions for sure. By the way, if this is resonating with you, a like really helps this reach more people. Okay, back to it. So this part usually takes me around 5 minutes or even less. And once the prompts have warmed me up, what I do is go to this page, the morning pages, inspired by the practice in the book Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. This is quite a popular way of journaling, and for a reason. What you do is to go into 3 pages of open stream of consciousness writing or brain dump, and the idea is just to write anything that comes up, no editing, no self-censorship, and it can be bullet points or full sentences, and it doesn't even have to be grammatically correct, just whatever comes. So writing something like, I don't know what to write. I feel weird doing this. Can I just go back to bed? That's completely acceptable. The whole point is to get the noise out of your head and onto the page. So for instance, that 1 thing that kept me up last night, my errands list, what I'll have for dinner. And what surprised me is that it works on ordinary mornings too, even when I'm feeling blah or nothing's really going on. Somewhere in the middle of the 2nd page, something clicks. Like a raw product idea for my shop starting to take shape the longer I write about it. And I'm always fascinated where I end up after this process and what emerges in the actual motion of writing without overthinking. And if morning pages isn't your thing, that's fine too. I came across a great Substack post by Long Format, linking it below, and his framing really stuck with me about journaling as a set of tools. And each tool solves a different problem. You can explore gratitude journaling, Stoic-inspired fear-setting practice by Tim Ferriss, or observational journaling by Austin Kleon and Haruki Murakami. You can pick and mix based on what you need that morning and still use these pages. However, there's one method of journaling which many of us may recognize as memory keeping that still lives on paper for me on my Hobonichi 5-year Techo. So I post ephemera here, photos, just things I want to remember. I decorate it as well, which I obviously can't do on the Move. But for morning brain dump type of writing, the Move for me is just the perfect size and format. And the 3rd thing is a part that I added later on and turned this into something actually useful in the long term for me. And that's the monthly index. So it looks like this, and it's borrowed from the bullet journal world. I do this after writing, not before, so I let the themes emerge naturally from what I wrote and just sum it up here for future reference. For instance, let's go here to a complete month. Then I just scan back and see patterns without rereading everything. And if a creative idea came up mid-session that I want to revisit, I tag it there too. Like, for example, this Stoic journal idea that came out of a writing session at a cafe. And having an index like this makes the journal feel less like a black hole where thoughts just disappear and more like something I can actually return to over time in my creative process. But of course, on those days that there's no central element or theme to your writing, then feel free to just leave it blank. Now you might be thinking, well, I can do that in any paper planner I have or my e-ink devices. And you're right, you can. But I want to share the combination of these 5 things that made the move perfect for me to build this habit, because I don't think this works the same way on just any device. As I said before, I didn't buy the move to journal. I was just curious when it first got out, but it just turned out to be kind of perfect for a morning journaling practice. So first, if you have the Pro or the RM2, you probably know what I mean when I say it becomes a desk device because of the size. So for me, it lives there. It's part of my work setup, and my brain just starts associating it with tasks and productivity. And the Move doesn't have that baggage for me. It's small enough to sit on my bedside or kitchen table without feeling like a work tool. It feels casual and low stakes. And there's something else about the size that I didn't quite expect. So if we go back to the pages here, so 3 pages on the Move, which is what a regular or typical morning pages practice would look like, would probably be closer to 1.5 A4 page on the Pro, something like this. But your brain doesn't know that. It just feels like you did the thing. That sense of completion of filling an entire page like this is real, even if the canvas is smaller, which makes the whole habit feel more doable, especially when you're still building it. Then, of course, there's the e-ink screen and the premium feel that just made me want to pick it up and actually like using it. It feels so solid, easy on the eyes with a soft front light. Currently, it's on its top setting, but it's still fine. It's not so aggressive. And this one felt like the closest to picking up a notebook compared to my Paper Pro or Supernote A6X, even if that's also a nice size. For example, it's just like the size of my Hobonichi Weeks that I would use first thing in the morning, this one. So there's definitely some nostalgia at work there as well. Also, the fact that I can just delete anything, I can add pages. If I need more space, I can reuse a page, I can move pages around. That means there's no guilt about using or wasting paper. I always had this with my Hobonichis, and so I would curate or self-edit too early so as to make sure I'm using the precious space and paper wisely, which is actually counterproductive if what you want to do is do a word vomit and just pour your heart out. So I completely eliminated that when I started to use e-ink for the better. And of course, as all reMarkables or Supernotes go, there are no apps, at least distracting apps, no browser, no notifications. And that constraint has a way of making me laser focused on just the page and my thoughts. And the payoff is incredible. I feel calmer, creative ideas crystallize, and I get a clearer and more balanced view of what felt like an utterly desperate situation just a few moments ago. And that is a much better way to start my day. And the unexpected benefit was that having a journaling habit sort of spilled over in a positive way to other parts of my creative life. So it's become my idea capture device as well, which made it absolutely essential for not just running a creative business, but also to stay inspired and have a home where my creative ideas can percolate and flourish. So if you've bought the Move and you're still figuring out how to make the most of it, or you're on the fence whether to get one, I hope this video has shown you a possible use case with immense benefits. And if you're interested in how to combine the analog and the digital using your reMarkable to stay creative and organized, feel free to subscribe to my newsletter, The Paperful Dispatch, and I also added a link in the description box below. All right. See you in the next one, and until then, stay paperful.